Hey guys, it's Lainey, and today I'm doing my June wrap-up in a little, sort of big July TBR. I haven't been doing wrap-ups for the past couple months. I kind of got away from me towards the end of April. It was really hard for me with graduating and everything like that. I'm just going to start again with June because I really don't want to go over all the books I've read from April to May. So killed a bug. Whew. Okay. June was a great reading month for me. Do you want to know how many books I read? I read 7 books and 1 novella. So basically 8 books, which is crazy. So I'll just get started on wrapping up the books I've read. When I got back from New York, I finished These Broken Stars by Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner. It is one of my favorite books so far that I've read this year. I really enjoyed it. It's as beautiful as everybody says it is. It's very beautifully told. It's a great book. The next book I read was also one of my favorite books of the year so far, and that's The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. This is for the read-along we did for it. I picked it up right after I finished These Broken Stars because the read-along actually started the day after we got back from New York, and I was exhausted and I couldn't pick it up and read it. So I finally did, and I thought this will take me all month to read because it's very thick. But then I finished it probably within that week. I thought for sure this was going to be a slow starting book, but it wasn't. If you're afraid to start this book because you think it's going to be a slow start, it's not. It's definitely not. I absolutely love this series now. It's going to be one of my favorite books, one of my favorite series. It's totally worth the hype. I can't talk better things about this book because I just loved it so much. Then by the time I finished these 2 books, it was time for RibSat, which is Read Your Bookshelf-a-thon, created by Miranda from Books 101. As you guys might know, I co-hosted this round with her and Gary. So I did do a wrap-up video for this, which I'll put a link for it somewhere in here so you can click it and see what books I read. So I won't go too much in detail for these because I kind of already went into detail for them. And they were the Selection Stories, Shadow and Bone, which is my new favorite book, Toxic Heart by Theo Lawrence, which is the second book in the Mystic City trilogy, and The Unbound by Victoria Schwab, which is the second book in the archived duology / maybe trilogy. Those were the 4 books I read during RibSat, which was an incredible week of reading, and the next time Miranda does the round 3, you guys should join because it was so much fun. I read a book on my Kindle, and that book was The Fear Trials, which is the prequel to The Murder Complex by Lindsay Cummins. I really liked the prequel. I think it set up the world nicely. I really enjoyed it. It was a pretty good, solid prequel novella. I started The Murder Complex. I actually started this when it was released, and then RibSat started, so I stopped reading it for that week, and then I picked it up again afterwards. What I really loved about this book was that it was so quick to get through. I really loved how short the chapters were because it flew by. It was like quick and it was enthralling, and I really did like Meadow, who's the main heroine. Zephyr, I think, has some things to work on in my opinion. I was just watching Kenya's wrap-up, and she said how her Lindsay Cummings editor told her to add in the romance, and while I wasn't head over heels for the almost kind of insta-love relationship that Zephyr and Meadow had, I kind of liked that Meadow was still kind of like, you need to calm down, and she was very distant from him for pretty much the entire book up until like the last, I would say, 4th of the book. So I did like it. I really liked it. I really liked where it was going. I loved her descriptions, and the gore was perfect for me, and I can't wait for the second book. Those were the 7 books plus the novella that I read for June, and now it's time for my July TBR. I actually haven't done a TBR in a really long time because I haven't kind of been going in a set schedule as I was maybe when I started BookTube earlier, but I want to do a TBR now because there are books I really want to read this month, so this is pretty much tentative. I do plan on finishing Take Back the Skies by Lucy Saxon. I'm almost halfway through. This book, I don't want to say I don't like it, but I don't like it. I don't hate it, but I don't love it, so it's a little bit of a struggle for me to get through the rest of the book because I really hated the beginning. I thought there was a lot of problems with the beginning, and now that I'm like halfway through almost, I like it. It's just I don't even want to pick it up right now. Maybe I'm not in the mood to read it, but I want to finish it this month. The next book I plan to finish this month is The Shadow by A.G. Porter. I mentioned this in a book haul, but A.G. Porter, the author, sent her first 2 books to me for a review, and I want to do that as soon as possible. I don't want to sit around and wait on the books. So I started reading this one. I'm about 50 pages in. I'm liking it so far. It's very interesting. I want to know what the mystery is going on with it. So I plan to finish this month as well. I'm also going to be reading Sweet Evil by Wendy Higgins. This is on recommendation from Shannon, Kenya, and pretty much everybody else. I want to read this book this month. I also want to read Siege and Storm by Leigh Bardugo, which is the second book in the Grisha trilogy. There is a read-along for the series going on this month, so I thought this was the perfect time to read it since I pretty much will be reading it this month. I might as well participate in that read-along as well, so I'm excited to read this one. I also plan to read Blackout by Robinson Wells. This was one of my favorite naked book covers because of the germs on the front cover. His brother, Dan Wells, I'm assuming is his brother, he wrote the Partials trilogy, which I read the first book and I haven't finished the second book. Sounds like a really interesting book, and I know Emmy from eBullet reads, I don't know, I'm linking her down below. She read it and she really loved it, and we were talking about this book on Twitter, so I think I'm going to try reading this month. And the last book I plan on reading this month is Blackfin Sky by Kat Ellis. This was sent to me by her publicist, and it's a book that's not released until September, but when Valerie emailed me, she said it's a book that's like undefinable. You can't categorize it, though it is YA, and that immediately intrigued me, and I said yes, send me a copy, I want to read it. It's about a girl who's been dead for 3 months, but then she just shows up, and she never knew she was dead. So it's supposedly for fans of The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern, so if you liked that book, you would like this book as well. And the cover is pretty cool. I'm excited. I just got it today from the mail, and I started reading a little bit of it while I was waiting for the bus to pick me up from work, and I really like it so far. Its first few pages are really good, and I'm really confused, but good confused, because I'm as confused as the main character is. That's it for my June wrap-up and my July TBR. What are you guys planning to read this month? I would like to know. And what was your favorite book you read this month in June? Mine was The Bone Season, obviously. I hope you guys all have a great day, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!